When you're looking at your match list, it can be really overwhelming because there, in many cases, are literally tens of thousands of matches. And unless you have already done an extensive amount of genealogy, you may not know how most of them are related to you. And I can tell that for myself. Of all the tens of thousands of matches, there's probably less than 1,000 of them that I know exactly how they are related to me. And that is because of not just the work I've done, but my mom, my aunts, and several other people that have been involved in genealogy for decades now. What I want to go over with you today is how to start to cluster your matches so that you're not just looking at all of them at the same time, but you can start to minimize the ones that you're looking at and focus on those. So let's begin with what is a simple clustering method. And it's going to start with, hey, can we separate out matches into our paternal and our maternal matches? Let's go over to Ancestry and take a look at a match list for my mom. And as you can see on here, if you know, Phil Garnett is actually me. And then, of course, there's me. We're obviously related to my mom. We have her sister, we have an aunt, we have some second cousins, and we get into the list of first and second cousins and some other things as we continue to go down the list. I have not done any kind of separating out of these matches, and that's why you see over on the other side over here, there's no colors. It keeps on asking me, do you recognize them? And it always has this second to third cousin where, hey, there could be several different matches that it is. So let's start and figure out how we can separate out to at least either on the paternal side or the maternal side for some of these matches. I have right here an aunt that is on her father's side. That's great because that means that the matches that they share in common are all going to be paternal matches. So we go over and look at this match. And there's two things here that we then want to do. Doesn't matter whether or not this person has a tree. What matters is that we add them to a group and we go and look at their shared matches and add those shared matches to a group. Because remember, since this match is her paternal aunt, any matches that they share in common are going to be on the paternal side, or extremely likely that they're on the paternal side. So I'll click on to add to a group to start with. So I begin by creating this custom group, and since this is on her father's side, I'm going to put basically her father's name, and that was Richard Kevern. And then I can assign it a color. Now, there are 24 different colors, and in this case, I would suggest you use some kind of a color scheme that separates out maternal and paternal side. So just looking at this, if I look over on this right side, these are primarily blues and greens, and over on this left side is primarily yellows, oranges, and reds. So I'm really going to make that dividing line right down the middle here. And I'm going to say that, hey, this is the paternal side or the maternal side, and this is the paternal side. I'm going to select this darkest color down here. It's a really dark blue. This is going to represent all of her paternal ancestors, and then I save it. Next, I've gone over here to the shared matches, and in this case, I can see several of these matches, but these are not the same set as the overall shared match list. If we go back to the original shared match list, we can see, yeah, it starts off with her sister, but then it has some other people who are different from these ones, but these people do show up in that shared match list. There's just other people interspersed in there. So what we want to do is we want to now add all of these people to that group that we just created, because all of these people are related on that paternal side. Now I skip over the parent child, the full siblings, and I go down to the close family, because really what I'm most concerned with is the people that I don't know necessarily how they're related. And I'm going to go over on the right hand side and click on this little plus to add them to a group. Once I've opened up that, it opens up a slightly different view of that shared match list. You can still see that I'm on here and my mom's sister is on there, but it has now focused on the person whose plus box I checked. And in each one of these people now, there is a little check box. So we can add multiple people to a group at the same time. So I want to go down and I want to check all of these boxes. And then I want to check this Richard Kevin box because they all belong to that group. And then I'm going to click add to the group. After we've added them to the group, it's going to take us back to the shared matches list. And then as you can see, there is now a dark blue dot on each one of these people that I had clicked. Now, with something like just splitting it up by maternal and paternal, you're still going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of matches. And so I would suggest you start off with, say, all those that are at least 50 centimorgans or more, maybe even 35 centimorgans or more, just to keep it manageable. Otherwise, you're going to be clicking down for an hour trying to find all of these potential matches. So let's talk about the next part of clustering. Is once we've started to divide up by maternal and paternal, well, now we can actually divide up by our 4 grandparents. Now with maternal and paternal matches, it's actually somewhat easy because aunts, cousins, they are all related through either your maternal side or your paternal side. With each of your 4 grandparents, then, what we need to do is we actually need to find second cousins. So not just a first cousin or an aunt, but we need to find a second cousin because that second cousin, unless you have some sort of pedigree collapse, is going to be related through just one of those grandparents. I happen to have this second cousin who is related to my mom. You'll notice here, there is no tree on this. I knew this because my mom told me that, oh yeah, that person, he's related to so-and-so and so-and-so, and so that is the second cousin. Now in this case, let me go look at my cheat sheet over here. This person is related to my mother's mother's mother. So the maternal grandmother of my mom. And so what I can do is I can do the same thing where I'm going to add a group. And in this case, I'm going to add 2 groups. One, I'm going to add a maternal group. And 2, I'm going to add a maternal grandmother group. And it's going to be the same way. I'm going to take the shared matches and I'm going to add those to the group as well so that I now have a couple of different colors. But remember, I'm going to use the other colors on the other side that are a little bit more yellowish, reddish, as opposed to the bluish, greenish colors. Now we can see on this shared match list, I have 2 colors for each one of these. That's because they belong not only to the maternal group, but they also belong to the maternal grandmother group as well. And I can do this then with any other known matches that I have that are second cousins and start to put more colors for the maternal grandfather, the paternal grandmother, and the paternal grandfather. So then we come to our next step. Now, so far, I've only spent a couple of minutes just showing you a couple of matches and coloring the groups for those. But in actuality, you're probably going to have several matches. This might take you a little while to do. We're now going to get to, of course, the 8 great-grandparents. So if you remember, Ancestry has 24 colors, so you can have 12 on the paternal side, 12 on the maternal side. You've got the maternal, that's 1. You're going to have 2 grandparents, that's 3. And then we're going to add 4 more grandparents to each side, so we've still only used up 7 of the colors. So there's going to be even more colors that we can use as well. So let's go and take a look at the great-grandparents. And for this, you want to find third cousins. And third cousins, again, are going to share with just one of your great-grandparents. Now, in this case, they don't have to be third cousins. They could be third cousins once removed or third cousins twice removed, because that third cousin line all is related to just one of those great-grandparents. Now that I've gone through with some of the matches on both my maternal side and the paternal side, I can see how some of these matches might fit together. Let's take a look. As I scroll down the match list, hey, I have this that is on the paternal side. I can tell because it's this dark blue to dark purple. Then I have the more reddish ones, and these are on the maternal side. And that is actually confirmed by Ancestry based on the information that Ancestry has. Ancestry knows that this is on the father's side, this is on the mother's side, because I've already input that information elsewhere. But even as I go down to some of these matches that I don't know necessarily how they're related, they don't have trees, because I can see, hey, this is on the paternal side because it's that dark blue, whereas I know here, because of not only the darkest color, but even some of the other colors, this is on my maternal grandmother's father's side. So they're related to that ancestor. And as I keep on going down, I can see that some of these have all three colors. Some of them just have two. Some of them are on the paternal side with the darker blue and purple. Others with the orange reddish are on the maternal side as well. Now, I mentioned that there are 24 colors. And so just going out to your great-grandparents, you're using up 7 colors on each side, which means there's 5 more colors that you can actually use for great-great-grandparents. So if you happen to have 4th cousins, then that would be who is related to each one of these great-great-grandparents. You don't necessarily have to do it that extensively. Even if you just go out to the 8th great-grandparents, then you're going to be perfectly fine. And where this is useful now is, since we've gone through with some of the basic matches, like I said, 50 centimorgans and higher, and put them in different groups, we can go and find unknown matches, maybe new matches that have just tested that are much less, and see if we can't put them into a group. Let me show you. So here is a match that I don't know who they are or how they fit into the tree, but what I'm doing is I'm just going to go down, and you can notice that they share only 41 centimorgans, so even less than what I had before. As I go down, I can see that some of their shared matches I've already color-coded. And this color grouping is on the maternal side, so I already know that this match is on my maternal side. So I could add them to that maternal group. Additionally, I can see from some of the others where they have multiple, is that this is on the maternal grandmother's side. And even the maternal grandmother's father's side. So just with a little bit of color coding, I can take an unknown match, and I already know at least which line of my great-grandparents this match I need to be able to research through. Now, clustering is not going to solve everything, but it is a great start in order to see where your matches line up. As long as your family does not have pedigree collapse or endogamy on both sides, then it is going to be very useful in at least separating out some of your matches so you know which ones to research together. Now, if you want to watch something more, then check out this video right here. And if you'd like to join FHF Extra, it is only $2.99 a month, and it helps support us in creating even more videos for you as well. Once you're looking at,